Hi guys! Today I'd like to share a creation of mine, the JapaWrap, which is actually a Japanese style pork cutlet in a wrap. So let's get started. First, let's hammer our pork chop. I put a plastic wrap around the meat, so nothing gets splattered when I hammer. You want to hammer all of the pork to soften the tissue, so the pork will come out nice and tender later. Make sure to hammer both sides. And then unwrap the pork. Mine got so much bigger after hammering, so I'm cutting it in half. Then we will lightly season the pork. I'm using just a little bit of salt and white pepper powder, so it has a little bit of flavor on its own. You don't want to season too much because we will be using some dressings in the wrap later. Give it a good rub and then set it aside for later. Next, take a clean bowl and crack 2 eggs in. Just kind of beat them and mix the egg yolks and the egg whites. When it's done, you can set it aside for our breading station that we will set up in a little bit. Then it's time to prepare our cabbage. You want to slice it as thin as possible. I find that thin sliced cabbages are just so much easier to work with for wrapping later. Now once you get the amount that you want, run them under water to wash. When you're done washing them, you want to make sure they can be as dry as possible so your wrap doesn't become soggy after you put the cabbages in. Now we can set up our breading station. Basically, you want to have all-purpose flour, the eggs, and the breadcrumbs in separate containers. Start with coating the pork with flour. You want to evenly coat the pork. This will help the egg mix to stay on the pork later. When you're done coating the pork with flour, move on to the next container and dip the meat in the eggs. Evenly coat it with the eggs and then coat it with the breadcrumbs. After that, you can go back to the eggs again and coat a second layer of breadcrumbs. The kind of crumbs I'm using is Panko, which is more of a coarse crumbs. Avoid breadcrumbs that are too fine because that's not the texture we're looking for here. Then start a pan with medium-high heat and pour generously some oil for frying. I test the oil to see if it's ready by using a wooden chopstick, but you can also test by dropping some breadcrumbs to see if it's frying. When it's ready, gently put the pork chop in. Flip the pork chop when the bottom is golden brown. Keep frying it until both sides are golden brown. When it's done, you can set it on a paper towel to absorb some of the grease. Then cut the pork to your desired width. Now we can assemble them. Take a wrap and first pour a little bit of Tonkatsu Sauce, some Japanese Mayo, some dried Bonito Flakes. Then put the pork chop on the wrap and top it with the thinly sliced cabbages that we just cut. Then you want to hold the ingredients and roll the wrap. As you roll it, fold in the sides. And then put it on the grill for a few minutes to make the wrap crispy on the outside as well. When that's all done, carefully take it out, and there you have it! Now it's time to enjoy some delicious JapaWrap! Hi guys! I hope that you've enjoyed today's recipe, the JapaWrap. The name JapaWrap, or this whole idea of JapaWrap, was inspired by Japa Dog in Vancouver. And so it's a group of Japanese people who would who are doing kind of like a fusion, Japanese fusion hot dog. So they've been putting things like Bonito Flakes on the hot dog, or daikon, mashed daikon, green onions, and things like that. So it tastes great. So one day I got, a few pieces of pork chop, and I think we were just really full that day, or maybe we were craving for something lighter. So I thought, hey, you know what? I feel like the tonkatsu, the Japanese pork cutlet, but I don't want to be too full. I don't want a full meal. So what do? And then I thought, well, you know what? There's some wraps lying around. Why don't I just make it and then put it in the wrap? And so that's how this whole thing came together. And actually, my husband and I, we both love it very much. So that's the whole idea behind this. And I've tried it a few times. So the order of putting things that I did in the video is actually the way that I found that's easiest for wrapping it later. So you don't have to go with that order if you don't want to, but that's just the way I found. And yeah, so I really hope that you guys will give this a try. If you do, please leave me a comment and let me know how you like this recipe. I'd be really curious to know what you guys think about this. If you've enjoyed my video today, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel for more easy homemade Chinese cooking, or possibly my creation. I'll see you guys later, okay? Bye!